Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing so very well today. I've decided to partake in the mid-year book freakout tag and I'm so excited. I just finished getting my list all prepped, so I have all my answers and I'm going to tell you, it was really hard to choose some of these answers because there are so many books I've loved, so many books that I thought were incredible, so many new authors that I've fell in love with and their writing style. So this took me like a good half hour to write out, but I'm finally ready to talk about them all, and let's get into it. First, I just want to mention that, I have a problem. I buy book after book after book, and then they sit on my shelves, and then instead of reading these books, I'll get books from the library, or from Libby, or Scribd, or one of them, and then all these books on my shelves just stay unread. So, out of like all these questions, I only have 4 books here in physical format. That's awful. There's 14 questions here, which means 10 out of these 14 books I've borrowed from somewhere else. So I have a problem. I'm gonna have to start making sure that I read more from my actual bookshelf because this is awful. Like, almost every single book on my bookshelf is basically unread. I'd say a good 75, if not 80% of my books on my bookshelf are not read. And I need to fix that. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Maybe do like a TBR challenge or something, but I'm gonna have to do something because I can't keep buying books if I'm not gonna read them and just get books from other places. So anyway, I'm losing train of thought, so let's just get into it, and yeah, I'm excited. So the first question is, best book you've read so far in 2020. Oh goodness, that was hard. I ended up going with Final Girls by Riley Sagar. This is the first book by Riley Sagar that I read, and it was incredible. I did not guess the plot twists. They left me breathless. I was turning the pages so fast. I was like trying to speed read, and I was like, my heart was pounding. I was not able to sit still. I was like squirming around in my seat because I was like, oh my god, what's about to happen? And it was phenomenal. And I can't wait to read more from Riley Sagar. Like, he's a master storyteller. So Final Girls is about, should I tell you what they're about? Or is that going to be like a 30-hour video? I'll tell you what some are about, the ones I'm really passionate about, the ones on here that I don't like, I'm going to be like, meh. Yeah, so Final Girls is about 3 girls. They've all survived a mass murder. They were the only survivors, and so that's why the media calls them Final Girls. They're in the spotlight of magazines and such when they just want to live their normal lives and try and get over the trauma that they've gone through, and it's their story after the incidents took place and how they go from there. So it was incredible. There was a lot of mystery. It was like a slow burn. There were times where I was just like, okay, like this is intense, but like not enough to get me like freaked out, and then certain scenes would be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, that was definitely incredible. And by far the best book I've read so far this year. It was tough, but I still knew it was that one. The second question is best sequel you've read so far in 2020. I'm gonna have to go with Acevedo by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This was the final book in the Illuminae Files trilogy. I was obsessed with Illuminae when I first read it a couple years back, and then I just never continued on with the series. So I decided in December, I think, to reread Illuminae and then jump into Gemina, and then at the beginning of 2020 I finished it off with Acevedo. I didn't think it was possible for them to put out a better book than Illuminae, but they did it. They did it with Gemina and they did it with Acevedo, because Acevedo slapped, and I gave that 5 stars, and I can't wait to read more from those authors, especially Amy Kaufman, because she has a lot more books that I find take place in space, like These Fallen Stars, is that what it's called? And I'm really looking forward to going into the Aurora Rising series or something like that, because that's about space as well. I really love books about space, so I'm excited to get into that. There is something in my eye, so let me take a moment while I'm dying inside because my eye is so freaking itchy. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh. That hurt. Oh no. No, my glasses broke! Ah! I don't understand why these keep breaking. They broke for the first time like 20 minutes ago. And I take such good care of these glasses. I've never had a problem with them. I've had them for years. And then all of a sudden, one of the screws just completely disappeared. So we're gonna try that again, and I'm just gonna try not to touch my glasses. Oh. And now they're probably crooked as shit, but whatever. I need them to see. So the third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. For that one I chose Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've read The Poet X early on in this year. That is also on my list. I loved it. It's the first book written in verse that I've ever read that I truly like obsessed over. I've read books in verse in the past. They weren't really my thing. I didn't think I liked them. So I kind of strayed away from books written in verse ever since. Someone honking outside. Calm down, sir. Yeah, so I lost my train of thought because someone rudely honked. Cut that out, please. So yeah, I fell in love with The Poet X, which made me really intrigued and excited to read more books in verse. And Clap When You Land is also a book written in verse about two sisters who discover that they are siblings because they've grown up their whole lives without knowing they were related. So I'm really, really interested in that, and I cannot wait to read it because I feel like I'm gonna love it, because Elizabeth Acevedo just gets such high reviews. Everyone is obsessed with her book. She's an incredible writer, and The Poet X showed that, so I cannot wait to jump into Clap When You Land. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For this, I'm gonna have to go with This Is All Your Fault by Amina Maya Safi. I started reading one of her books a couple months ago, and then I got in like the biggest reading slump ever, and that was This Is How I Really Feel, I think, or This Is How You Really Feel, and it was amazing. I got like 10 chapters in, I loved it, and then I just never ended up finishing it. I sent it back to the library, and I never got another chance to check it out. So I really want to read from her because I was honestly enjoying that book so much, and then the fact that I never got to finish it makes me sad. So I really want to read more from her writing style, because from what I read, it was really good. So I'm really intrigued by This Is All Your Fault because it's about three girls that are trying to save a public library, I believe. Or no, sorry, an indie bookstore. They're trying to save that because it's going out of business. And I mean, a book about books. I'm excited. How many times can I say I excited in this film before you guys get annoyed and click off? Because I feel like I've already said it like 100 times. Oh well. I'm sorry, I guess I'm really excited. Oh, there I go again. Okay. So the next question is biggest disappointment. That was the easiest. It was the only book I've rated 1 star this entire year, and that is Platform 7 by Louise Doughty. I read this for one of Kayla from Books and Lala's Book of the Month pick for her book club called the Literally Dead Club. Oh my goodness, can I speak? And I absolutely hated it. When I took part in the live show, a lot of people felt the same way. It wasn't properly advertised. It stated that it was a mystery horror when it was a mystery, but it was more about domestic abuse and what the main character went through leading up to her death. Because right at the beginning of the story, we're told that we are viewing from the perspective of a ghost, and so we thought it was going to be this scary book about a ghost and haunting and all this, and it was literally just the entire story about her when she was alive and all the trauma she'd endured from her boyfriend. So it was a real letdown. I don't think it was handled well. Everything, like, I feel like the author tried to do way too many things at once. Everything was all over the place. Nothing was clicking together. It was hard to follow. The characters were so unlikable, even the ones that were made to feel, that were supposed to be sweet characters. I didn't like them either. I didn't like the villains, and it was awful. So I gave that 1 star, and I don't rate many books 1 star because I tend to always find something redeeming in a book, which always makes me, if I don't like it, give it at least a 2 star, just because I really don't like rating 1 stars. I feel like there's always something in a book that has a perk, and I always try and find that in a book, because to me, if I finished it, that's at least worth a 2 star. I feel like a D and F should be a 1 star, but if I finished a book, then that means that I was at least into it enough to be able to finish it and at least captivate it a little bit, which would in my mind make me want to give a 2 star. But no, this one I just finished for the live show and it was horrible. Do not recommend. The next question is biggest surprise, and for that one I've chosen, oh yeah, The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I already talked about this a little bit, but like I said, this was the first book I've read in verse in a long time that I absolutely adored. It was about a girl who was growing up in a very strict religious family, and she felt like she couldn't really talk to her mother about things that were happening in her life. She was getting a lot of unwanted attention from men when she walked outside because she was maturing and she had a lot of curves, and so instead of pouring her heart out to someone because she felt like she couldn't really talk to anyone, she started writing poetry to express her feelings and letting it all out, and the whole book was amazing. The poetry was really great. She actually joined a poetry club, and I just really, really enjoyed it. It blew my mind, and I'm so glad that I read it because now I can finally say that I want to read more books in verse. The next question is favorite new author. Where did that go? Number 7 is favorite new author, and for that I am choosing Brittany Morris. She wrote the book Slay. It is the only book I've read from her, but it was incredible, and I basically want to add Brittany Morris to my list of whatever she comes out with I will read. That's an awful name for a list, but I'll think of something better later. Okay, Slay. Amazing. So the main character creates this beautiful virtual reality game called Slay, and it is a place where her and other black people can go and just feel like themselves without having to worry about people being racist towards them and people judging them, and stuff like that. She goes to a school where everyone is white, so she finds that she's always the person that people go to talk to, asking for advice on if something's okay with the black community, as if her opinion kind of is for the entire community. Sorry, my card became full, so I'm gonna have to kind of like zip through these answers before it becomes full again. Slay, Brittany Morris. So she loves video games, but as she was playing a lot of video games, if she chose a dark character, people would start calling her horrible racist names and made her feel very uncomfortable, so she created Slay. And then someone dies over an argument that was created due to Slay, and so her game is exposed, and ultimately the media was saying that her game was racist and excluding to white people. So she was dealing with that and trying to come to terms with everything that happened, and she was hiding her identity because she didn't want everyone to know that she was the creator, and it was amazing. It was one of the best books I've read this year. Ultimately, that is very high up there. It will most likely be on my top 10 books of the year, and it was amazing. Simply amazing, and I really, really cannot wait to see what Brittany Morris comes out with next, because this was her debut novel, and I'm just so excited to see the other stories that she crafts. So the next question is, gotta get my phone with all these questions. Newest fictional crush. Finally, a book I actually own, even though it's, you'll see. My favorite fictional crush is Cage York from While It Lasts by Abby Glines. I don't have that book, shocker, but I do have Because of Low by Abby Glines, which is the book prior to While It Lasts, and Cage is actually first introduced in the series in this book. So he's a bad boy. They use the term man whore a lot in these books. So he's never ever been in a relationship. He he likes sex and he likes women, but he's never ever felt the need to be tied down and to be with this one girl until he meets Ava in the book While It Lasts. In this book, I did not like Cage because to me he was despicable. He treated women like trash. It was gross. But then in While It Lasts, it was like his character just completely changed. He was sweet and he was trying to change and he was trying to better himself. And all he wanted was this one girl, Ava, who completely had his heart. That's why he's my new fictional crush, because he's like a completely different guy. The author changed him around completely, and I love this new Cage so much. He is, oh my god, he's perfect. He's perfect. And I cannot wait to continue on with the series. The next question is a book that made you cry. No, sorry. The next question is number 9, which is newest favorite character. That's going to be Tori Brennan from Virals by Kathy Reeks. I read Virals when I was younger. I talked all about it in my previous video, which was my June wrap-up. I will link that down below. But because I didn't read this in a long time, I kind of forgot how amazing the main character Tori was. She is the niece of Temperance Brennan, the anthropologist in the series Bones, the TV series and book series. And so Tori is very snarky, she's very smart, she loves science, and she loves discovering new things, and ultimately she loves defending people who can't defend themselves. And she is just such the sweetest character ever. I love her so much, and she is definitely one of my newest favorite characters, and I'm not going to forget her because I hadn't read this book in so long. I definitely forgot how amazing she was, but not this time. She is on my list of favorite characters, and she's there to stay. And the next question is question 10, book that made you cry. That is going to be Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed. I've talked about this quite a few in the last video as well, but it was incredible. It pulled at my heartstrings. I cried so much throughout the book. The hopeless feeling that just stuck in my gut while reading her story, it was unreal. Like, I truly felt like I was feeling all of the main character's emotions, and that doesn't happen with me a lot with books. Yes, I love characters, but I don't connect with them that hard on an emotional level, so it was crazy that the author was able to do that, and definitely an amazing book, and I highly encourage you to read it. The next question is question 11, book that made you happy. What did I write here? Oh. Onyx by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the second book in the Obsidian trilogy? What is it? It's literally there in huge letters. Lux. I guess I can't see with my glasses either. But this is a bind-up of the first 2 books. Onyx is the second. This book is like trashy YA romance with aliens and a human girl, and I love every second of it. And I used to be ashamed to say that because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like people would make fun of me for loving this so much, but you know what? No, I'm not ashamed. I love this book. It is the perfect trashiness for me. And yeah, this series always makes me happy, I'm not gonna lie. And the next question is favorite book to film adaptation that you've seen this year. That is going to be the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. Sorry, I said that too fast and I kind of tripped up on my tongue, but my boyfriend really wanted me to watch this series with him, and I kept putting it off because Lord of the Rings I just felt like wasn't my thing, and I watched half of the first movie last year and it didn't really grab me, but this time I watched the whole thing. I was obsessed. Sam, you are a gift from God, and I love you so much, and the Lord of the Rings series, amazing. I still haven't read the books yet, but I'm planning to, and ugh, Lord of the Rings. I can't believe it took me so long to become a part of this fandom. Like, it's just incredible. So incredible. if you haven't watched it and you don't think it's for you, I really urge you to do so, because I didn't think so either, and I ended up loving it. The next question is a favorite review you've written. I wrote a review at the beginning of the year. It was for No Exit by Taylor Adams. This was a thriller about a girl who gets snow stayed at a, I don't even know what it's called. She was on a road trip and she got stuck at this place. Oh my goodness, I remember. It's a rest stop. So complicated, Jessica. Can't believe you couldn't think of it. It's a rest stop. She got stuck at a rest stop with a few other people, and when she goes out to try and get cell service, she sees a little girl locked in a cage in the back of a truck. And so she's trying to find out who's responsible for kidnapping this little girl, and she's trying the whole book to save her and without getting caught or hurt. And twist at every page. Incredible. I put it off for so long because of all the hype that surrounded it, but then when I finally got to it and I finally read it, I could see why so many people love this book so much, because mind blown. And that will also definitely be on my favorites of this year as well. The next question is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. Okay. Only a Breath Apart by Katie McGarry. This is my favorite color, this like pink pastel-y color, and it's beautiful. I love it so much, and just her dress is beautiful, the font is beautiful, them laying on the grass, and just, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Even the inside pages were the perfect pink, and it has pink gold writing on the inside, and it's beautiful. And on top of that, it's an amazing book. So I also urge you to pick this book up, not just because it's beautiful, but because it is an incredible story. Katie McGarry has a way with words. I have not been disappointed by her once. I have read every single book of hers except for her newest release, Only Echoes Apart? Echoes Between Us. Echoes Between Us, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I've never been disappointed. Like, Katie McGarry writes the perfect cutesy romances, and she will forever be one of my favorite romance authors. We're already at the last question. Go me. So, question 15. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? That's impossible to answer, so I just put a crap ton of books on this list that I really want to get to. I still have half a year left, so hopefully I can get to them all, but knowing me and my reading slumps, it's probably not going to happen, but one can only hope. So, books I want to read. I'm just going to put the pictures right here because I don't have them. I want them, but I don't have them yet because I apparently don't read books off my TBR shelf. Anyway, so The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, because I really want to finish the Raven Boys Quartet. The Black Veins by Aisha Monet. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I'm really sorry if not. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, especially because everyone has been talking about it, literally everyone. And The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta? I'm very sorry. But that cover, gorgeous. The synopsis, gorgeous. I can't wait to read it. It's about a drag queen, I believe, and OMG, I am stoked. With the Fire on High and Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've only read The Poet X so far this year, but I'm definitely planning on reading all her other works by the end of the year because, like, I need to be caught up on everything she writes. She's incredible. Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbin. That synopsis seems so cute. It's a hate-to-love romance about two boys that go into the same book club, I believe. Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. I don't know much about this, but I've heard so many great things about everyone across BookTube, so I really want to read a Case and Calendar book, and that's the one I decided to go with. One to Watch by Kate Stamen London. This book is about a plus-size woman who gets chosen to become like the main girl that all the boys are seeking on like a bachelorette type reality show, which that sounds amazing. And The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I believe this is a fantasy. Again, not sure quite what this is about, but everyone has been talking about N.K. Jemisin books, and I really want to read hers. I'm also planning on reading the 5th season trilogy this year as well, at least the first book. I'm hoping to be able to read them all, but yeah, those are some, N.K. Jemisin. Those are the books I want to read from her. A Shadow of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. Everyone has been saying this is like the newest best fantasy out there right now. The cover is gorgeous. I don't know much about it again, but I really want to get to it because I haven't heard one bad thing from anyone about this book, and I'm excited to start a new fantasy series because it's been a while. And what else? Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Everyone's saying, I'm really going by like all of BookTube's recommendations here because if everyone says they're good, they gotta be good. So everyone and their mothers have been talking about Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Amazing romance. And then the second book just released, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, I believe. And I really want to read those. So those are on my list as well. All 3 of Riley Sagar's other novels. The Last Time I Lied. Oh my god. Every Locked Door. And then the newest one just released, and I don't know that title right now, but they all sound amazing. And I mean, Final Girls is my favorite book so far of the year, so I gotta read everything else he writes. And Becky Albertalli. I've been meaning to read books by Becky Albertalli forever, especially Simon and the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I have that on my bookshelf over here, and I've got that a couple years back, and I still haven't read it, which is a shame because... And I believe that's it. Wow. So yeah, I have a lot of books I need to read for the rest of the year. That's not even like, those are just some of them that I figured I'd list, but like, let's be honest, my Goodreads TBR has like 5,000 books I want to read. Can I read 5,000 books in my lifetime? No. So I'm gonna have to pick and choose which ones I want, but I mean like, the list keeps growing, the bookshelf keeps growing, I'm just getting older with less and less time, so it's a problem. We all know about it. But I'm just gonna read as much as I can, especially in 2020. And yeah, that's the tag. I hope you guys all have such a wonderful day. I'm gonna leave the original tag in the description below, as well as the questions, and also the link to the Black Lives Matter movement information, and yeah. So make sure to subscribe and click that bell icon if you want to hear more from me. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Bye!